Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing great. If you're new, I'm Liza, I'm South African and I react to movies I've never seen before. And if you're a returner or a stickarounder, welcome back. Always happy to have you all back. Today I'm going to do something different, but before I get into it, I just want to give a special shout out to all my YouTube and Patreon members. Nicely Toasted, David Townsend, Toki Mickey Dreams, Your Mr. Lebowski, Michael Beale, Chris Maguire, Matthew Edwards. And then I also want to thank all my free members on Patreon. Thank you for being there. You must check out the special that I have until the end of August. There's a special for free members and any new members. If you want to join the Springbok tier, sign up for the Springbok tier. You can get your first 3 months for free. So take this opportunity to join and to sign up for the Springbok tier. So if you do like this type of content, please consider subscribing to my channel, commenting on my videos, liking them and sharing them. Otherwise, if you want to support my work, you're welcome to head over to Patreon, PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee or YouTube membership. In any of those manners, you can support my work. And the links will also be in the description. I am going to do a little podcasty type thing today, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do it correctly, but I'm going to be ranking the Predator movies. All the Predator movies that I've seen and watched, and that's all of them. And I'm going to rank them from my favorite, least favorite, to the favorite one that I've seen. So this will be my unpopular opinion, no one else's opinion. If you do enjoy this type of content and you are not too serious, you are welcome to stay. If you are going to be very serious about the ranking and you're going to get upset with unpopular opinions, please leave right now. Let's just delve into this. First of all, I'm not a hardcore Predator fan, so I'm not big into the lore and into the books and into everything, even though I did enjoy the movies and I did enjoy the lore that the movies explored, and I did enjoy this species much more than the aliens, the xenomorphs. So it is my preference, the Predators over the aliens. So the thing that I enjoyed about these movies were that they were all really exploring different aspects of the Predator and the lore. Yes, there were some movies that were terrible, there were some movies that were good, but in general, each movie brought something different to the table. So no movie of the Predator franchise was the same. And that I really appreciated. They had different aspects that they focused on, different areas of predator behavior that they explored, and that really made the franchise, for me, fun to watch and enjoy. Most of the movies, because they explored so many different aspects of these creatures, the human characters in some of the movies were neglected, can I say. So they weren't really focused on so much, and they weren't really good characters that you could connect with. Because the Predators the story with the Predator or the backstory with the Predators kind of drove the stories. So opposed to the alien movies, the aliens do the same thing in every movie. They find hosts, they breed, they multiply, and they kill and destroy and get killed. That is basically the basis of each alien movie. So there you had stronger human characters that you had more connection with. So that is something that I noticed with these movies, with the Predator versus the aliens, on base of their stories, on base of their plots, and on the base of human characters. But nonetheless, the Predator movies were fun to watch. I enjoyed it. It started off rough for me with the Predator, with the first one. And then after that, I really got more interested, and it just became more fun to enjoy these movies. I'm ranking all 8 movies. That includes Predator, Killer of Killers, and the Alien vs Predator movie. So there's 8 movies I'm ranking from 8 to number 1. Let's get into the rankings. Number 8, Predator 2. Why didn't I like this one? Why was this my least favorite? This was a big, difficult one to choose between this one and Alien vs Predator Requiem on which one is my least favorite. So the reason I didn't really like this movie was the chaotic element in this movie. It had an interesting concept with a predator in the city, but it started off in chaos, and the chaos element was just going through the movie, and it just really frustrated me most of the time. So it takes place in Los Angeles in 1997, and we have this chaotic moment with a shootout between drug lords and the police, and we get introduced to Mike, played by Danny Glover. He is obviously the target for the predator because he sees he's someone who takes everything hands on and goes full blast into this fight. So you can see that the predator has his eye on Mike. The drug lords, obviously, they end up being destroyed by the predator, and the last one tries to escape, and Mike's character finds him on the roof. He notices the predator and he gets frightened, the bad guy, and Mike thinks he gets frightened at him because he starts shooting, and then he starts shooting back at him and he falls to his death. Mike, obviously, you see he's afraid of heights, so he is not sure if he saw what he saw, but he just wants to get off the roof. And from there, it's just a crazy movie where they are trying to fight these drug lords, where they are trying to figure out who killed these people because they discover all these bodies now. And it's one character after the other bursting in, and you don't really get chance to really connect with all the characters. Mike is the only one that you really can find some kind of connection with, but the rest are really just characters that just pop up and go and blast through this movie. One of the characters I really also didn't like was Bill Paxton's character. I know a lot of people really enjoyed him, but I didn't. He was very annoying to me. And the thing is, you couldn't spend enough time with any of these characters to really like them. I didn't feel much for the lady cop. I didn't feel much for Bill Paxton's character. And unfortunately, I didn't feel much for Danny when he got killed. Danny boy, when he got killed, it wasn't enough time spent with these characters to really feel too much for them. There were a lot of gruesome kills, a lot of gruesome moments in this movie, and I think that is what they played on, or at least that's what I think they played on to make this movie work. So with the plot of the killings taking place that was unexplained and Danny's death, I think that is what was the basis for the plot for Mike taking revenge and finding this killer of his partner. And that was basically the basis of this movie. Also had the wacky task force team led by Gary Busey's character Peter Keyes, and this just was also another team of people that I couldn't connect with. And when Gary Busey's character died, you really didn't feel much for him, even though he did go out heroically, but it didn't really give anything for me emotionally to feel for him and feel sorry for him. We also got a very creepy side of the predator when he copied the little boy's voice. Do you want some candy? Would you like some candy? And Danny boy with Mike and Danny. That was a creepy side of him that made the movie a little bit scarier. When you watch the graveyard scene where Mike visits Danny's grave and he taunts Mike by leaving his necklace there, it really is a scary moment and a nervous moment for Mike, and you can feel the tension with him. We also saw a nice side of the predator, but he was also brutal in his killings, and he was the kind of predator we expected him to be: scary, brutal. He also killed King Willie, the drug lord, and that was a nice transition from where they met up and when he killed him. Effects for this 1990s movie was not terrible. For a 90s movie, it was good, and during that time, I believe everyone really enjoyed it. For me, the invisible effect was a little bit problematic. It didn't really sit right with me, but all in all, the action and the effects were good. The Predator's reveal was, as usual, wonderful to see. We also had a moment of comedy in this movie when the Predator escaped from the lady's apartment after he repaired his injuries, and Mike burst through the walls asking for the predator and saying he's a cop, and the reply,
I don't think he gives a shit.
Favorite part that I enjoyed in the movie was basically the end, when Mike entered the ship and the reveal with the trophy ball and the xenomorph skull. That was fun to see, and also just the face-off he had with his predator at the end, and the reveal of some more of their characters, what they are like and their behavior when the predator died and the rest of the predators appeared, and the offering of the pistol that we also saw in Prey as a token of respect that the leader gave to Mike. I also enjoyed afterwards seeing a scene that was not part of the movie, that was done on set but behind cameras, when all the predators and Danny Glover were dancing on set. That was a fun thing to see. I wish that was something that we could see more of, the bloopers. I think that would have been great. Alien vs Predator Requiem, and I learned how to say that word correctly. Alright, the reason why it's not at the number 8 spot for me is because of the Predator alone in this movie, and it was difficult for me to decide really whether I wanted to put this movie in number 8 or number 7, but I think because of Wolf, that's the only reason I'm putting it above Predator 2. This movie started off exactly where Alien vs Predator ended, with the ship leaving Earth after the young blood from Alien vs Predator died, and with a chest burster scene of the xenomorph bursting out of this predator's chest, revealing that it's a hybrid between a predator and a xenomorph, getting the audience excited about what's going to happen next. And apart from it being very dark to watch, with a few things that happens here, it goes well, and then this movie just goes downhill. So the characters introduced in this movie are really boring and schlocky. You don't care for them, you don't feel for them. All we want to see is the predator and the predalien. We also get introduced to the predator named Wolf. He is a cleaner, so he gets sent down to Earth to clean up the mess. As Wolf investigates the crash site, you discover that the predators can also access each other's data through each other's masks. So that was a nice reveal to see that they can actually access data through another predator's mask. The parallel between the sheriff and the townspeople investigating the disappearance of the boy and his father, and Wolf investigating with regards to the escaped aliens. So that was a fun parallel that I did appreciate. The kills and the deaths in this movie was gruesome, horrific, and brutal. And there were some lines crossed here, with the first line being a facehugger face-hugging a child, implanting on a child, and they showed the whole chest burster scene from this child's chest. And then also the implantations with a pregnant woman. That was horrific to see how he implanted into pregnant women and used their wombs as growth wombs for more xenomorphs. So that was something else on the alien side that you didn't know could happen, because we all thought that you only needed an egg and a facehugger and a person or a thing or a host. But it seems the predalien can do other things. Another thing with the kills that was also very brutal was the poor girl at the end, when she got accidentally killed by Wolf's blade. Even though you didn't feel sorry for her, it was an accident, so you felt sorry for Wolf killing her, but it was brutal, slicing her basically in half, pinning her against the wall. That was just quick and gruesome. The acting was really atrocious, but the action between the predator and the aliens were great, and you really liked Wolf for being such a good predator. He killed all these aliens on his own. And I would like to believe that the alien at the end, the predalien, that he had the upper hand over him, because he was the first one to stab him. He was the first one to rip out his secular second jaw thingy before the Predalien stabbed Wolf and before the blast occurred and killed both of them. Wolf was honestly the best character, the best in this whole movie, and that is the only reason I ranked it above Predator 2. And that takes us to number 6. There will be people that will be very upset with me putting this at number 6, and that is Predator Killer of Killers. After watching 7 other movies with real people in them being brutally killed, an animation just didn't sit with me. It just didn't connect with me at all, even though the animation and the direction was not bad. But the story itself just didn't connect with me. This movie follows 3 stories of 3 characters from 3 different timelines, from 3 different time periods, that end up fighting 3 different predators, only to end up on a predator planet where they have to fight each other to the death, with the last one standing having to face the predator leader. The 3 characters are a Viking leader that's very brutal, a samurai guy, and an aviator. For me, the first Predator looked like if it was ever genetically possible, like the Hulk and Goro from Mortal Kombat had a baby. So that was just a weird sight to see. I didn't enjoy the look. I didn't appreciate what he looked like, because that's not how I think Predators should look. The second Predator was mostly closely to what the Predators look like, and he had the stealthy look that we want the Predators to have. And the third Predator looked to me like if this was ever genetically possible, like the Orc and Uruk from Lord of the Rings had a baby together. The looks of the Predators just felt off with me. The animation wasn't bad, just an animation being extremely brutal, trying to have extremely gory scenes and not really much else. The part that did catch my attention was the end, when they revealed the pistol that they gave to the aviator guy, and when they revealed in the cryo chambers that possibly Dutch was in one of them, and the final reveal, Naru from Prey 2, that was captured or held in a cryo chamber, giving the audience a thought that there's going to be something else going on. It really turns the tables on what predators do. It really changes the story on what you think about them or what you think they do. So I guess whatever comes after this might be interesting, but I must be honest, to watch it as an animation, it's not interesting to me. I would want to see another real people, real characters, real creatures, practical effects, that type of movie that continues from here, to see what they do with that. Let's take this to number 5. So at number 5 is Predator 1987, another unpopular opinion. This movie follows a task force led by Dutch, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they are basically convinced by Dylan, played by the late Carl Weathers, to go to Guatemala and rescue hostages taken by guerrilla terrorists, only to find that they've been lied to by Dylan, and that the real reason for them to go was to prevent Soviet-sponsored invasion, resulting in them having to get back to the helicopter that was going to pick them up after they completed their mission, and encountering the Predator on the way, with some memorable one-liners and comedic moments.
Yeah! Stick around. Knock, knock. I ain't got time to bleed.
You ain't afraid of no man.
There's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no man.
We make a stand now, or there will be nobody left to go to the chopper. If it bleeds, we can kill it. Get to the chopper!
You're one ugly motherfucker.
And the handshake scene, this movie did have its moments. Billy sacrificing himself, Dylan dying in anguish, and Dutch fighting the Predator at the end and outsmarting the Predator with the mud. Those were key moments in this movie. So what made me dislike this movie and place it at number 5 is mostly the long takes in between. The long scene with the guerrilla camp, the long scenes with them walking in the jungle, the long scene setting up the traps. Most of these scenes felt like it focused a lot on the muscle and the strength of these characters, and I just felt it was just stretched out too long. It made me forget what I was really watching. The more I do watch the movie, the more it does grow on me. So maybe at some other point in the future, I will like it more than I do at this stage. So at number 4, we have The Predator, another Unpopular opinion, and yes, the very hardcore fans will not agree with me and will not like that I am placing this movie at number 4, because most people place this movie at the last, at the least favorite. But I'm not everybody else, and I don't like to follow the stream, so I usually go upstream when everyone goes downstream, and this is my upstream moment. So I enjoyed this movie and found it quite entertaining, even though I do understand why most did not like this movie. I understand that the plot was filled with a lot of plot holes, that the action comedy theme of the movie was not really what they wanted. They wanted the more scary horror, sci-fi, original type of theme for this movie. The comedy made it feel a little bit wacky, and that really took away from what a Predator movie is really all about. Another thing that I can understand is that they messed a little with the lore in this movie, but what I appreciate about this movie is that they did take a different direction than all the other movies. All the movies are different, and each movie explored something else. So this movie did explore something else, and that is what I appreciate about this movie. The comedy for me was good enough. I enjoyed it. There was some comedic moments that I didn't enjoy, but there was comedic moments that I did enjoy. I enjoyed the characters, and I was really enjoying the dynamic between the characters. And I enjoyed the Predator as well. I did not so much enjoy the Super Predator. He was a little bit weird. I think if I have to compare him to the Hulk again, maybe, I don't know. The story all in all was just fun entertainment for me. The movie starts off with a beautiful visual of the stars and the galaxy, and then you see two ships shooting at each other, and a hole opens up in the galaxy and one ship goes through. And this also confirms what you saw in Predators, that there are predators fighting each other. So they're not all from the same clans, they don't all have the same goals, and there are definitely feuds among predators. You get introduced to Quinn McKenna, and he is a sniper, and him and his team is on a hostage rescue mission, and it gets interrupted by the crash of the ship. Quinn discovers the ship, and he finds some of the equipment, and he takes it in order to prove that extraterrestrial intelligence does exist. We also meet government agent Will Traeger, who seems to be the bad guy in the movie, and he captures Quinn just after Quinn posts the equipment to a postbox, and he takes him in for questioning because he thinks that Quinn knows more than he gives off. We also meet Quinn's son, that you learn is autistic and that he gets bullied a lot, and we learn that Quinn and his wife is estranged from each other. We also meet Dr. Casey, a biologist that is recruited by Will in order to study the Predator. We also discover that Will captured the Predator that crashed, and they have him in their lab to be studied. We also see all the weapons and equipment that Will and his teams have collected over the years, and we see the spear that was made for Lex in the Alien vs Predator movie. We see that in one of the showcasings. In the meantime, Quinn is interrogated by Will's team, only to throw him on a bus with some former military Marine Army captives because they don't get much out of him, so they are being bussed and transferred, probably what we think, to a high security prison. While all this is happening, Casey discovers that the captured Predator contains human DNA with the Predator DNA, and he starts waking up, breaks loose, and wreaks havoc on the lab workers and the guards trying to escape. In his attempt to escape, he also searches for his equipment, and he discovers that his arm gauntlet, is missing, and he gets upset. So he heads for the door, and he encounters Casey naked and unarmed, and he leaves her, and he breaks through and he heads out. So basically all of this sets the stage, and the story unfolds further, and you learn more about what's really going on. You also get introduced to a predator with hounds that is on this other predator's tail, chasing him down. And we also learn as the story unfolds that the super predators, basically are bad bloods that are trying to get the best of human DNA to improve themselves into the best warriors. And we also learn that the first predator is actually there to help the humans, even though he does make some brutal kills. But honestly, why did he kill these people? People are asking a lot of questions of why he killed people if he's there to help them. if you saw him escape, you would know why he killed those people, because they were trying to restrain him and trying to attack him. So obviously he killed them. The rest of the movie, he doesn't actually kill people. So if you have noticed, he was definitely not intending on killing people. He was just defending himself, trying to get away, basically. You also discover that the equipment that Quinn posted was dropped off at his home because he didn't pay his postbox. And his son stumbles upon this package and he thinks it's a game, and he puts this mask on and he puts the gauntlet on as his trick or treat costume. Quinn discovers that his son has all the equipment and that his son is in danger. So there is a plot for me. I mean, Quinn realizes that this predator is after the equipment, his child has the equipment, so he has to get his child out of danger. So within all of this as well, Quinn has already teamed up with his inmates on the bus, and they are on their way to go to his house because he realizes that the equipment is at his house and not at the post box, and that his family could be in danger. We see horrible deaths and kills in this movie. We encounter these weird predator hounds, and we end up liking one of the hounds that survives and becomes quite adorable. And in the end, Casey and Quinn saves the day, and Quinn's son ends up working at a science lab. That is a little bit unrealistic, but that happens. Watch other movies. There's a lot of unrealistic stuff that happens in other movies. We also discover in the facility that the original predator wanted to leave the humans with something to give them a fighting chance against the super predators that they call a predator killer. And it is revealed to be an exosuit that attaches to a human that is weaponized and that can give them a chance in fighting super predators. And it ends with Quinn saying that that will be his new suit. So yes, this movie has its faults and some characters have made bad decisions. Will killed himself with a shoulder gun. This is the reason why I placed this movie at number 4. It was entertaining to me, it was fun, it had its moments, it had its faults, and all in all, I still enjoyed it. If you want to be too technical and too serious about this movie, then maybe just go and watch a documentary. Number 3. Alien vs. Predator, the first Alien vs. Predator. So this movie surprised a lot of us, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know. Those who watched the extended version of this movie were better prepared for the rest of the movie, with the opening scene where it started off with a guy fleeing from something in Antarctica at a whaling station only to end up being killed, and you get a glimpse of the predator, a predator and a xenomorph. We get a jump in time and we meet Lex and some other characters that are recruited by Wayland Industries, and then you get the reveal that it's Bishop Wayland. And it's a nice reveal because all of those who have watched Aliens really enjoyed the android character there, and it is the same person, even though this is the real Bishop Wayland and not the android version. Lex is basically the main character with the most sense, and basically no one listens to her apart from Sebastian, whom she forms a friendship with as the movie goes on and as they explore the pyramid and learn more about the history. But other than that, most of the characters are basically just there to fill some gaps. You don't really get to connect with them because you don't have a lot of time spent with them, so you only really feel much for Lex. You get to learn a little bit more about Wayland and his thought processes, and you learn to like Sebastian. Those are your characters, in my opinion, that you end up rooting for somehow. There's cool action and fight scenes, there's cool scenes between a predator and an alien fighting, a very long, great scene with great moments and shots, and then you also get some brutal kills. Eventually, Lex is the only surviving person, and she ends up killing an alien and earning the respect of the final predator that's left alive, and he makes her a shield and a spear out of alien parts to help her protect herself, and they team up in order to fight the rest of the aliens and destroy the aliens. The queen gets freed and she's there to create havoc. The predator and Lex blows up the pyramid because there's too many eggs and they barely escape the pyramid and the tunnel, only to find that the queen reaches the surface as well. The predators help in the end to send the alien to an icy death. Really makes you want the predator to be your friend. Unfortunately, the predator dies from his injuries, and it is revealed again that a number of predators appear with their ship, only to take him back and to present Lex with a wonderful spear-like weapon as a gift of respect. The movie ends with the ship leaving Earth, showing the dead predator and a chest burster bursting out of him, revealing that there's a hybrid predator xenomorph alien, and we all have our thoughts about how this is going to play out, only to be disappointed with Alien vs Predator Requiem. I like the movie for delving into the lore a little bit more, and I like the alliance with the human and the predators, and I like that they showed that the predator had some decency in it and that they were not only brutal killers. With this said, Predators shows to be different. This brings me to spot number 2, where it just proved the opposite of what I just said, that there are predators that are only brutal killers. So this movie again delved into a different aspect of predator behavior and predator lore, and this is what I appreciate about these movies, because they all are different. They all explore a different area of behavior. This movie starts off with Adrian Brody's character that wakes up mid freefall, and only shortly before he hits the ground, his chute opens. He wakes up only to meet up with some other people, including Danny Trejo, who plays an enforcer, and we meet Walter Goggins, who's a death row inmate, and we meet a doctor played by Topher Grace, with some other characters, a Yakuza member, and also a rebel soldier and a Russian and a sniper. Adrian's character is immediately strong and sensible, and he has one goal on mind.
So I can figure out who threw me out of a fucking airplane.
It is discovered that they're on a game reserve, not on Earth, and that they are there to be hunted by creatures that they don't yet know what they are. So Adrian eventually gets them into a place where he discovers the predators and that these creatures are what's hunting them. We also meet the character played by Lawrence Fishburne that survived on this preserve for 10 seasons, and he explains everything about how these seasons work and how these predators hunt each other and how they operate, only to be killed off very unceremoniously by one of the predators on the preserve. Kills in this movie was also brutal, and the creatures we were introduced to in this movie was interesting. We were introduced to hounds, and we were introduced to something what they called a river ghost. Before Lawrence Fishburne's character is unceremoniously killed, Royce discovers there's a ship, and he decides that he wants to get onto the ship to escape this planet. Adrian Brody's character and the doctor and the sniper are the only remaining survivors in this hunt, and they continue on towards the ship to escape from the planet. Unfortunately, the doctor gets injured and Adrian Brody's character leaves them behind. The doctor and the sniper, they get caught by the last remaining predator, which they call the berserker, and he throws them into a pit. In the meantime, Adrian frees the predator that's tied up on the totem in an attempt to get him to help him get to the ship and get back to Earth. The predator succeeds in activating the ship and setting a course for Earth, and Adrian's character runs towards the ship only for the berserker predator to arrive and decapitating this predator. In the meantime, the doctor and the sniper caught in the pit are trying to escape, and it is revealed that the doctor is actually a murderer, and he poisons the sniper with poison that he found on a plant, paralyzing her. The berserker blows up the ship, and it seems like Royce is gone with the ship. The doctor reveals that he wants to stay on the planet because he feels at home, because he is a killer. And just before it seems like he wants to kill the sniper, Adrian Brody's character reappears and he helps them out of the pit. The doctor tries to play off as innocent again, and before he knows it, Adrian's character stabs him with his own scalpel with a poison and uses him as a booby trap to bait the predator. The booby trap works, and Adrian's character is in a big fight with the berserker, eventually defeating him with the help of Isabel and decapitating him. Adrian reveals his name is Royce, and she reveals her name, the sniper reveals her name is Isabel. They see a bunch of parachutes falling in the distance, and the movie closes with Royce saying,
Now, let's find a way off this fucking planet.
So the reason I like this movie, it just had a different dynamic again. The characters were fine, and Adrian Brody was smoldering, and he was a very good, strong, sensible character, and I just liked the way he behaved and the way he handled himself. We saw the Yakuza character gave himself up to give Royce a chance, and we saw the fight that we never saw with Billy in the first Predator movie. So there were moments that were good, there were moments that might have been better, I don't know, but for me this was also a fun watch and a nice story and a nice addition to the lore. And here we get to number 1. My most favorite movie was Prey. I cannot say anything bad about this movie. The scenery was beautiful, the characters were awesome, the story was good, the Predator was brilliant, the sounds and the music was just beautiful. So there's nothing that I can say that I found fault with this movie. The movie is set in the 1700s on the Great Plains with the Comanches, and we meet the lead character Naru, and she has a dog. And the great part about this movie is, even though there were close calls with the dog being killed off, they didn't kill the dog, and that is plus points for this movie. Naru is a young Comanche, and she wants to hunt because everyone thinks she can't. She's not strong enough, she's too weak. We meet her brother Tabe, that's wonderfully supportive of her, and he backs her everywhere he goes. So we see how the Predator is dropped off. You see the Predator studying everything around him, with a wolf hunting down a rabbit, and he faces off against the wolf, killing the wolf and taking its skull. During her journey on, Naru discovers skinned buffalo, she falls into a mark pit, she encounters a grizzly bear, and that is when she sees the Predator for the first time, when the Predator faces off against the grizzly bear. She escapes from the site, but she gets caught by a group of Comanche that was sent out to go and find her. The group ties her up, and they end up being brutally killed by the Predator after ignoring her warnings. She escapes, and she ends up being caught in a bear trap. The Predator discovers her being trapped, leaves her, and French trappers catch her and cage her and take her dog. She discovers that her brother is also caught by them. They tie her and her brother up as bait for this monster that they want to also capture, only to be killed off by the Predator in an epic battle where you actually root for the Predator and just want him to kill them all off. The Predator kills Tabe, causing the saddest death in Predator movies for me. This was the death that made me cry, and it was just part of the story to get Naru to be more determined about her kill. Finally, she battles the Predator and ends up pulling him into the mark pit, only to shoot him and kill him with his own mask. She returns back to the camp with the head of the Predator and tells them that they need to find higher ground because there's danger. It is also revealed that the pistol that she got from the interpreter was also the same pistol that was given to Mike in Predator 2. This movie's balance was perfect. I rooted for the Predator. At some point, I loved Naru and her brother, and I'm happy that the dog didn't die. And this is why I love this movie, and this is my favorite movie. All these movies had wonderful moments. All these movies had unique moments. What I liked with all these movies, they all had some kind of references to the original Predator movie. And that is probably what made Predator the epic movie that it is. Even though I didn't rank it number 1, it did set the stage for all the movies, and I appreciated that all the movies gave some reference to this movie, and it was fun recognizing all those references. I don't really know what to expect with Badlands coming up, but we'll see when that happens. This was a fun journey and a fun ride, and I really enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed the movies, they were entertaining. I enjoyed all the Predator movies for each and every one on their own for what they brought to the table. I hope you enjoyed this ranking. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will definitely see you again next time. Take care of yourselves. Bye.